Hi, this is John Connell. I'm a global artist ambassador for Phoenix 360, and I'm joined today by the musical artist Ken Field. Hi, Ken. How you doing?
I'm doing well, John. How are you doing?
Oh, I am doing great. It's great to have you here, and it's nice to be part of the Phoenix 360 presentation. Is to actually share some of your work with our audience. So I would like everyone to get a chance to sample some of that. Sound good?
That sounds great.
Okay, great. Well, then everybody, I want you to tune in now to watch Ken Field, part of the his band, which is the Revolutionary Snake Ensemble. And let's tune in to the track, The Skunk is Defunct. Wow, Ken, amazing work. I really appreciate it. And thanks so much. It's great to share with everyone. Can you tell me, Ken, your long, illustrious career as a musical artist and everything that you've created? I'd love to hear your story of how it began and your journey as an artist.
Well, how it began, that's a long story, John. um,
That's okay.
um,
We're here to hear it.
I'll shrink it down to 15 seconds. Well, I started as a kid. When I was 10, I played clarinet. My folks got me started on clarinet. Um, and I dug it. I worked pretty hard at it. And Uh, zip forward a bunch of years. I got to college. I was horsing around freshman year in the hall, and I basically ran into a door and broke my front tooth, and that put a little bit of a crimp on the clarinet aspect. Um, and so I switched over to flute. My sister had played flute. I switched over to flute. I started jamming with some people. Up until that point, I played notes on a page. I didn't really know much about improv or jazz or anything really.
Right.
Played in the school band, the marching band, but then I picked up the flute. I started jamming with folk artists, blues people, learning a little bit just by ear, and eventually hooked up with some people. This was in Providence, Rhode Island, who were really doing some interesting things. Doing some Frank Zappa and some John Coltrane and some McCoy Tyner and some deep stuff, and they were quite good. And we hit it off. I played with them. I picked up a saxophone. At that point, the saxophone has a slightly different embouchure than the clarinet. It pushes up on my fake front tooth and not out, so a little more stable in terms of the physics of it.
Uh-huh.
Um, and so I was studying computer science in college, worked in that area for a while, but played all that time. Took a little time off, went, studied with some great teachers. I studied with a guy named Joe Viola, who taught for many years at Berklee College of Music in Boston. He is world renowned, he's passed now, but um, and learned a lot and started playing with people. Eventually took some time off from my computer gig to go to Berklee. And went back to the computer field for quite a number of years, and then left that entirely and have been doing music full time for a couple, I don't know, a couple of decades now. Um, so, I have a band, Revolutionary Snake Ensemble. It's kind of a opportunity for me to present my original material, but also we work off of the traditional New Orleans second line repertoire, and put a little twist on it. Do some improv, do some funk, do some freeing up of it, and putting our own spin on it. That's one of the
Ken, I love
projects.
it. I love, thanks for the journey beginning with that anatomical disaster
Yeah,
that that really actually had
right.
an impact on your
Yeah.
the transformation of your musical talent and energies. So listen, I really
Yeah.
appreciate it. Also, you also shared some of the people that you mentored under, and also, some of the influence that you had. So those are two insights that I was really hoping to capture that you already gave us some feedback about. So I really appreciate that. And
Hmm.
you're out in the Boston market, and let me ask this question. That market in particular, have you found that that is one that resonates with your kind of expression? I mean, is the Boston market in particular a place where this emerges?
Yeah. I will say, uh, after doing this for so long, I actually don't think of it so much as a market. I mean, that's a reasonable way to pose the question. But from my perspective, I have a beautiful opportunity to play music for a living and to present creative work to whatever community, whether it's Boston or New York or New Orleans or wherever I end up
Globally.
being,
Yeah.
or I go to New Mexico sometimes. I go to Australia. Uh, I'm out on Cape Cod. So number of different places that I have a little bit of a community, I guess. And so, excuse me. So I just feel fortunate to be able to do creative music. The music I do is a little left of center. It's not what some people would call commercial music. I do my own thing,
That's cool.
and yet people like it and want to hear it, and I get plenty of opportunities to play. Um, COVID, of course, put a little crimp on that,
It
but
did. Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
but and then I do some other things too. I keep myself busy. I have a radio show that's been going for over 10 years, that is on a couple of radio stations, and do some other projects, and have a number of other musical projects as well.
And the radio show, what is the name of that show?
Yeah, that show is called The New Edge.
The New
Um,
Edge. Huh?
it airs on WMBR in Cambridge. That's a station at MIT. It also airs on WOMR in Provincetown out on Cape Cod. And it airs on a webcast called Taint Radio out of Raleigh, North Carolina. So I put it together and then I edit out WMBR, put in WOMR,
Right.
and
Exactly.
boom, done.
That's
So,
beautiful. So
and
it's
I
like multiple
play
delivery. Uh-huh. Yeah.
I play a variety of creative instrumental music of all kinds of genres. So from contemporary classical to improvisational jazz, to ambient, to electronica, to world music, all kinds of things. Mostly things that don't fit neatly into boxes. So not your mainstream jazz, but more out stuff, sort of like what I play
Yeah.
myself in my own musical life, and all instrumental. So that's just a choice I made to
Well, that
focus on
feeds your
instrumental.
soul, and I'm so glad that actually it sounds, Ken, that after your other professional career and computers, et cetera, now that you're really kind of living your passion and working your art and doing what you truly love to do and what you're kind of here to do.
Hmm.
So luckily for all of us, we get a chance to kind of, you know, um, experience that vibe and that is really a gift.
Yeah.
Now let me ask this question. You know, if you ever do you ever get a situation where you feel blocked and it's really not flowing? And is there anything that you do to replenish your soul to get you to be creative again if you get kind of stumped?
Yeah, that's a really good question, John. I mean, yeah, that happens. I'm not one of these people when some people they compose music and it's just all inside waiting to come out. I have to work at it. I have to work at composing. Um, Improvisation, is another story. I'm very fond of jazz and improvisation, and I'm inspired by what I hear, or maybe I do a lot of work with layering my saxophone, layering improvisations on top of each other with a looper, and sometimes not with a looper in the studio. So I've done a number of projects where I've improvised layers of alto saxophone. Um, in that case, I'm inspired by the first thing I hear. Now, maybe I'm doing the first layer and I don't know, I just blow some notes,
Right.
and that inspires me in the following layers. Or if I'm improvising a solo over a groove, the groove is what inspires me. But if I'm sitting down to write music, um, sometimes nothing comes out. So what do? I go do something else. I
Yes,
go
yes,
check my
exactly
email.
right.
I go have lunch. I go, deal with one of the nonprofits I'm involved with. I put together my radio show. I listen to other music, not with the intent of, okay, I'll get an idea from this, but just to take a break and go back to it. And, maybe something will pop into my head at that point.
Right. Well, I think that's really excellent. And I think that it's great recommendation for others too, to take a break and do something else. And then what happens is you restore yourself, you know what I mean? Where once
Yeah.
you're at full capacity, you've emptied a little bit now for more inspiration to come rolling in. So
Yeah, and
uh,
you can't order up creativity. You
yeah,
can't say, "Okay, I'm going to write a great song right now." That's for me anyway. Maybe some people can. For me, that's not how it works. It works that, and I'll record some things in my phone. I'll have some little thought. Generally, they don't end up, being useful, but I will once in a while. Something I did, I'll listen back. Oh, that's pretty cool. But
right.
I'll also sit at the piano and I'll fool around and play around with some notes and like until something is like, that's a cool bass line. I'm gonna try something with that. So I'll put down a bass line and into my notation program. I'll listen back to it. I'll get inspired. I'll play along with it. I'll just mess around with stuff.
Well, that's cool. And it's interesting how your computer uh career and also your musical, I mean, musical language is a mathematical language too. And
Yeah,
so for the
yeah,
people who are composing at the level in which you do and the expertise you've developed in multiple instruments, I mean, this is sophisticated type of compositions that emerge. So it's great that you have that kind of range that you can pull from all your experience and also the divine inspiration that comes when it does come.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, Ken, I really appreciate meeting with you, and I really enjoyed listening to music from the Revolutionary Snake Ensemble, learning about your radio shows. It's great that you're working with these nonprofits. Thanks for being part of our show today. I want everyone to tune in to Ken Field's social media links that you can see below, and we're going to look forward to having him on Phoenix 360. And Ken, thanks so much for joining me today.
I appreciate the opportunity, John. You have a great day.
You too. Thank you. Take care, my friend.